Hello, welcome to the 24th day of January 2026. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life Meditation, a live video broadcast exercise that I do every morning at 5:30 a.m. to remember my life objectives and principles, those which I've taken great pains in the course of my life to distill out from the course of my living and the body of my reading and the corpus of my thinking, the ideas and principles that worked for me. And they're all laid out in the book that I wrote called Going Alone, embedded in a rather strange tale of going alone and coming back. So I use this exercise to think about that. I work on this. And this is what, after I wrote the book, I realized that it wasn't enough to have written it. I needed to then apply it on a daily basis. So I started doing this. I think that was it. That was in 2018. Has it been that long? And I've been doing this every day ever since. I also use this time to think about yesterday and significant events that occurred. Significant insofar as they relate to my efforts to live well, so that I can review those and try to tune myself. I go over my creed, at least the 8 objectives and one of the principles, and then I prepare for the coming day. But before I do any of that, I always like to say welcome to new subscribers to the channel. And a big thank you to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. I really do appreciate all of you. Disclaimer, I do talk about death, my own death, pretty reliably every day. So heads up if that's sensitive for you. And with that, let's get started. So looking at my notes from the last 24 hours, there's simply one very simple note here. It says, a very nice day in retirement. And I underlined the word retirement. And this is becoming kind of a trend I've noticed in the last week, in spite of the fact that I'm dealing with a horror show. And in spite of that, I think I might be finding my way to the other side. Many retired people tell me that there's a landscape that's to be crossed from the point of stopping work, quitting work, to finding ourselves at peace with the new life, and that can take time to cross that landscape. Sometimes as much as a couple of years to get there. And it's been just over 1 year for me, and I'm getting suspicious that I might be crossing over. I I have done a couple of significant things in the last year since I retired on December 6th, 2024. I've come up into my life, come to Japan with my family, bought a house, bought a car, settled into a life here, started work on a significant piece of land in my backyard that is my garden between the house and the river. Began to integrate myself into the community, doing morning exercise with my neighbors every morning except Sunday, doing antiquing every weekend, as I will today with my wife and my sister-in-law. I'm going to antique stores or flea markets or whatever, becoming enmeshed in the dining culture of Shizuoka, Japan, going out to eat frequently, in spite of the fact that we eat really well at home. Well, we go out and eat a lot too. We go to restaurants a lot, and we go get coffee shops and dessert places, and we have a lot of fun. Hold on, the candle went out, and there's another one about to go out shortly thereafter. If I can do this without burning I've got so many candles here to keep the light going. I have so many candles because this is my reading space, and I don't have sufficient ambient light. So I just set up at antique stores. I keep finding all these beautiful little old antique candle holders, and I just position them all around the place, and I've got this beautiful candlelight for reading. Okay, so now remember, this is a journal entry, so I'm at leisure to go into any topic I want for as long or as little as I want. So I'm going to continue this thread, narrating basically how what retirement looks like for my wife and I now. It's 13 months in, more than 13 months now. So, in addition to enjoying the routines of community and friendship, I have made a Japanese friend in the neighborhood here. Interestingly enough, he's the father of the boy that my daughter dated just before she left to came to America. That relationship didn't work out, but her father and I became friends, and so he and I do stuff. And another thing we did was he and I went to uh, the and he's Japanese, of course. And he and I went to the gym on Wednesday. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. We had a fun time together with that. And oh, and then I have every Sunday morning. I meet the fellas up at the top of the mountain. We drive up. It's about a 20-minute drive up to the top of the mountain, and it's including another foreigner like me, and a Japanese man, and another foreigner. There's a guy from Russia, a guy from Canada, and a guy from Japan. And the four of us sit up there on the top of the mountain overlooking the view of Mount Fuji and drink coffee, and we talk guide talk, and that's been nice. I've been getting together with Molly even, and Molly and I talk. My friend Jim and I talk all the time. I added something really interesting to the mix, guys. I added suica to the mix. Do you know what suica is? It's the I wanted to get Suica set up for because now and I added let me before I say Suica, let me finish with Suica. And then I added very importantly work to the mix. I realized that I wanted to have a little bit of structure in my life. I tried out teaching little kids. I don't want to do that. I tried out online teaching. That's okay. I might still do that, but I put that on hold for now. But then, most importantly, I was able to secure a fantastic, very part time job at a Japanese language school in Shizuoka as an English teacher. So I'm teaching two 45-minute classes back to back on Tuesday mornings, and then I'm in charge of the English club, two 45-minute sessions back to back on Thursday afternoon. So it's just enough time with those two lessons being back to back. I breeze in, I spend an hour and a half with people, and then I breeze out and I'm on my way. And on Tuesdays, that means that I'm done at 11 a.m. and I have lunch downtown by myself, and I wander around Shizuoka by myself, and I go look at the stores, and I have a nice lunch somewhere. And then Thursday, and I don't think I've told you about this, maybe I did. This was interesting. On Thursday, since I finish at 3 o'clock, I then wander around and I have like a beer and a snack. Now I tried it once this last Thursday, so I don't know if I'm going to do that again, but maybe I'll just stop at a coffee shop or something like that. But I did that. I had a beer and two sticks of yakitori, and it was fun. But I just don't know if I drink. I don't know if I like to drink beer anymore. Oh, another candle went out. Just a second. Oh, I got a jumbo one. I'm gonna need to go to the candle store. Now I don't know how I'm gonna light this without burning myself. Hold on. Light it. So my life has become slowly, my week has slowly become structured. I wake every morning at 4:30 in the morning. I read the Bible. Then by 5 I clean up. By 5:30 I do this. By 6:30 I do radio exercise with the neighbors. By 7 I walk the dogs with my wife. By 8 o'clock I have a lovely breakfast that my wife prepares every morning together, where we watch our show together. We like That's one thing Yumiko and I like to do. We like to watch Netflix shows together over our meals. So we eat together and we catch up on our show together. After that, I dress in my garden gear and I go out and I spend the rest of the morning in the garden. Then I go to lunch with my father-in-law and my wife. And after lunch, it's another dog walk, and then I have a couple of hours free. I can go back to the garden, or I could take Rudy, the white dog, for a stroll, or just do whatever I want. I'm reading so much lately. Oh my gosh, I'm reading. I'm filling in all kinds of free time with reading, and then before I know it, it's 5 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, Yumiko calls the dogs down to feed the dogs, and I walk to the convenience store to buy dessert for Yumiko and I. And I always have a question tonight: is it salty or sweet? Salty means like senbei, crackers. What do you want for dinner for dessert tonight, Yumiko? Crackers or something sweet, something chocolate, some ice cream, whatever. And I go to the one of the three convenience stores near me, and I mix it up, and I get us dessert. And then I come home, and by the time I get home, Yumiko is just putting dinner on the table. We have dinner, then we take the dogs for a walk. We have dessert after that. I take a bath and I go to bed. That's my day, day in, day out, except on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I go to work. And then Sundays I go hang out with the fellows early in the morning. And then Wednesdays now I have a gym membership. I could go to the gym. Now, do you see what's happened here? I've slowly, in the course of 13 months, I've established a foundation, a home here. We have our car, we have our garden, we have everything going. And a little tiny bit of work every Tuesday and every Thursday, and just enough to add a little structure, because the work part itself isn't the important part. It's the getting up and cleaning up and going to the office and doing the thing, and then I'm done. And it's just enough so it's not stressful, and I don't have to deal with any of the office politics. I'm not expected to be there for anything other than just to breeze in and breeze out. You know what I mean? It's just working just the right, perfect, measured dose. And so no wonder I guess I'm starting to feel like I'm finding my footing in retirement, because there's not much space left. Oh, and I'm really enjoying the garden. Oh my gosh. It turned out that I needed winter to really catch up and to begin to capitalize on the effort to manage the land and to prepare the soil, so to speak. So I guess now I've kind of run out of space to feel despondent in retirement. Strange as that might sound, because my life has become enmeshed in new and interesting retirement routines. Now let me tell you about Suica, but first have a sip. All right, Suica is a Japanese payment system called in Japan they call them like travel payment systems, and I wanted to set it up on my phone because now that I'm going to downtown uh, twice a week for work, I didn't want to have to rummage through my change purse looking for coins to pay for my ticket. So I wanted to get Suica, which with Suica, you don't even have to. You just wave your phone in front of You walk onto the train thing and you wave your phone at it, and it knows, and it starts the ticket. Right, you walk through the turnstile, and it sends you a little message and says, "Journey has begun." And then where you just go wherever the hell you want to go, and then you get out the other side and you go through the turnstile, and it says journey is complete, and it tells you what the rate was. It is so convenient. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about buying tickets or anything like that. It's super convenient. So the way that it's funded is you fund Suica. It's like having a Starbucks card. Add money to the balance, and then you have the balance. So I've got it all set up, and I set up the funding from my bank account in the United States. So I just throw a bunch of money in it, and I'm off to the races. Now here's the thing. I didn't know that Suica also is can be used at convenience stores and uh, vending machines and you know drugstores, and just about every place I've ever gone. Restaurants use it. It can be used everywhere. So what this means is I've become cash free and cashless in Japan, and I it's basically made money a non-issue for me. I can just do what, and remember, this is my personal journal, so I can say things bluntly and very clearly. I basically, I've reached a point in my life now that I finished raising my daughter. She's off on her own, and I can basically do what I want now with my money, and I don't even have to think about it now because there's the Suica thing. So I just put money in the Suica thing, and then put enough in there for a month or two in there, and then just go at it, go out and live my life. Buy stuff, get on the train, buy a vending machine, buy a soda, whatever, or not a soda, but a bottle of water, or a bottle of tea, or something like that. It has, it's almost like winning the Willy Wonka ticket, golden ticket, and the prize is you get to be relieved of the hard work of life. You get to live in a nice home with a generous garden and ample free time, and so far good health, and a lot of life big goals that are complete: raising my daughter, writing my book, completing my career, and and a magic little machine that buys you anything you want. It's a little like a kid in a candy store. But a kid in a candy big kid that's restrained and doesn't, I mean, like, I'm not going nuts. I'm not going down to the convenience store and buying stuff anything more than I usually would. I just don't have to think about it anymore. I just don't have to think about money. I don't have to think about spending. Okay, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get two ice cream bars for my wife and I. Walk up to the counter, beep beep, and off I go. I tell you, it's a good way. So all that for the last 15 minutes, by way of saying this one comment here: a very nice day in retirement. Well, who wouldn't find the aforementioned life not nice? I mean, all my work is done, my child is raised, my life's efforts are complete, and I've got lots of time, and I've got friends and routine, and um, I got a magic machine that buys me anything I want. I mean, I guess if I had problems, if I had issues with that, then I would have to question my determination about what constitutes a peaceful life. Hmm. Maybe that's part of what retirement is, successful retirement is. It's developing routines, connections, and a way to enjoy the ease that comes of a hard lived and hard worked life that can come when we reach the point in life that we can begin to enjoy the um, the benefit of all those years of effort. My creed now consists of 8 objectives and 35 principles. The 8 objectives you can read it going alone for free at the website goingalone.org in the chapter titled The Good Life. Just go to the website, click on the read the book link, and look for The Good Life. And my 8 objectives are as follows. Number one, to be at all times ready for death, having my affairs in order, my relationships in good shape, and my life's work, if not complete, at least in a stable state. And all three of those are in good shape, so I'm indeed ready to die. See, I told you I'd talk about death. It wasn't so bad, right? Two, second objective, to make good and effective use of my time so that I'm not wasting my life or my days in the little bit of time that I think I have left. It is a little. Three, even if it's not a little, it's a little. Third objective is to develop and maintain good and sound life objectives and principles, which I've tried to do by writing this book. The fourth objective is to cultivate good emotional reactions so that I don't fly off the handle ever, that I keep my composition and my coordination and my peace and my equanimity at all times, my balance. See that in objective 8. My fifth objective is to do good things relative to the values and objectives outlined in my book. 6 is to recognize the limits that are real and the opportunities that are real so that I can operate within the true and honest scope of what is possible in my life. Number 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. My 8th objective is to find and attain a state of balance in my life so that I'm walking with steady footsteps and steady thoughts. As for one of the principles, today I'm going to read the principle, the strangely titled principle called the Pirate Ride, on page 256 of the hardbound edition. The Pirate Ride, and there's a quote here by John Keats, and he's awake who thinks himself asleep. Now, I wrote the Pirate Ride after going through the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean, uh, you know, theme park ride, and I realized how alike we are to the automaton pirates, continuing their battles decade after decade in the Caribbean style seas in that ride. All we are is we're automatons who seem to be a little more cognizant of our existence and have a consciousness at a higher level. But nevertheless, I believe that we are constrained by precedent of the universe, the consequences that are happening, and the cascading events that are happening all around us, and operating with no free will. Yeah, I don't believe in free will. The pirate ride. There is no good reason to imagine we are anything but atoms and molecules and compounds and organs and muscles and limbs and brains and mind, instantiated through energy borrowed of the sun and the internal heat of the earth in alignment with the inertia of the universe. That is, that is it. In a sense, a very crude sense, we are complex chemical reactions, natural processes, unwinding through brief years, months, and days towards some conclusion which a sufficiently powerful computer algorithm might, might one day plot and predict. We are decision engines driven by the universe at large. In a sense, our destiny was always set, with our deliberations and decisions being just some distinct moments of seeming agency along our chemical unwinding from conception to death, a pathway we could hardly avoid or choose otherwise, a route decided not by us, but instead by the complex orchestrations of a universe which delivered us into life and mindlessly conspires during every moment we live to nudge and jostle us into every decision and action we vainly think our own. Life, a purposeless river like meander. That's an image that I fall frequently into in my mind. Nice that I live next to a river. I sit here sometimes and think that thought as I hear the river going by. We live, we experience, we think, we decide, and we move, but never truly of our own volition, and always on the path of our law bound chemical unwinding. Life, therefore, is like a Disney theme park pirate ride, an unintentional horror, joy, and amusement in which the robot pirates and the living writers are one. We live our lives then along seemingly invisible tracks we can never jump or escape, for we lack utterly the will to do anything but stay our course. That's heavy, especially now as I'm going through this horror show. And though we can make any decisions we like, we can never have made any decisions other than the ones we actually did. Told you, I didn't believe in free will. I don't believe in free will. I don't believe in fate either, but I do believe that we are compatible. Our decisions are compatible with the universe at large. And that compatibility constitutes our fate. All right. So I did that. I did that. I did that. The last thing to do is to talk about the next 24 hours. It is Saturday. So I'll finish this and then I'll join my neighbors for radio exercise. Then we'll have breakfast, dog walk, then breakfast, and then I'll join Yumiko and we'll pick up Yoko and we're going to go to the flea market. Today's a high end flea market at the shrine. What that means is it's the heavy duty vendors. So it's the more expensive flea market. It doesn't cost anything to get in, but it costs money for the vendors to be there. It's the high end one, which means we'll see the real good antiques. Usually stuff that's out of my price point, but I sure do like looking. And then I'm hoping to spend at least a couple of hours in the garden. I've been making a clear line of sight, clearing an airway from the second floor through the bamboo forest so that I can keep an eye on the garden and see the river beyond. I can hear the river clearly, but I want to open up the clear enough foliage in the upper areas of the bamboo forest so that I can actually see the water as well from my little sofa here. Nice idea and a nice ambition, but it's a lot of work. Let's go ahead and read comments. And good morning and welcome, everybody. Oh, I can't see the time. The wind knocked over my thermometer again, but I'm guessing it's a little warmer than it was yesterday. I would say it's probably 4 or 5 degrees right now, Celsius. Hello, April. Good morning to you. Japan Monomura, good evening from Athens. Wow. And good evening to you. Elvina says, hello to Kurt. Hello to April. Very cold here in Mimiko today. Negative 14 degrees Celsius. Feels like negative 24. Woo. Tonight we are looking at negative 21. Wow, with negative 29 wind chill and a cold looking face. That sure is cold in Mimiko. Wow. Tim, hi Tim. Good morning. Weather check for the UK at 8:33 p.m. is 6.6 C. You and I seem to be in sync here. A little bit cold here, and then a little bit warm. Our temperature fluctuations are a little bit aligned as far as we are as far apart as we are. And 93% humidity. You guessed it, a dull, rainy day, but the sun managed to peek out this late this afternoon. So we didn't need your wellies this today. Uh, oh no, it is. It's a dull rainy day, so you would need your wellies, right? I just wanted to say wellies. Stay dry, Tim. Hi, all. Tim says to everybody. Evelyn. Hi, Evelyn. Evelyn says, hi, friends. I'm in an online seminar on Homer now. I'll catch up later. Ooh, no kidding. I have a new copy of the Iliad that I've got over there that I'm looking forward to reading again. Wow, that's neat. It's funny. I was just looking at it yesterday, thinking, maybe it's time to pick that out, pull that out of the shelf. Wow, that's so cool, Evelyn. Elvina says hello to Tim and Evelyn. Tim says hi to Evelyn. And Tim says hi to Elvina. April says, I'm surprised it's taken this long for you to have a suica. It's taken me this long. Yep, I finally got it. I have joined the modern world. Patrick Fox. Hi, Patrick. Good to see you. Hello, everyone from Pacific Northwest. Hope all is well. Doing well on my end. I hope everybody is well. Patrick says to Softy P, advanced level Oyaji with the Suica. Yeah, but I feel like it's the kind of thing that I like April said, like you like really you've been there a year and you still don't have one. I never had one before either. Japan Monomura says I love senbei. Yeah, me too. April says, yep, keeping yourselves and making a routine. It's important for mental well-being. I think you're right. Elvina says, I like the routine you've set for yourself. Structure and less stress. Yep. April says, keeping yourself busy, adding to the previous comment. Patrick says, totally. I'm going through my military pre retirement courses, and the point is stressed hard. Find your new mission and purpose or perish. Whoa. Yes, indeed. My boss, I was talking to him when I was in America, and he told me that in the course of his career, he watched 12 of, and I was one of his employees. He watched 12 and now 13 of his employees retire and then die within a year. And he had a long career. He's retiring right now, and he's in the process of dying himself. So I mean, wow! Did I just lay a landmine there of a hell of a bomb? But yeah, he told me when I was there. We had dinner, and he said, Kurt, and he said, Kurt, I watched 12 of my employees die within a year of retirement, and he's the one that told me when I first got my job. When he hired me, the first day of work, he said, "Welcome. We're really glad to have you here, Kurt. Whatever you do, don't retire because then you die." And now he's retiring, and he's mm, man. Okay, let me try to snap myself out of that. Gee, sorry to lay such a heavy one, but it's just sometimes you just get ambushed by reality. Elvina says, I have a card for a public transit here in the Toronto area called a Presto card. I just tap the card for the phone app and it auto refills when it gets down to $20. Oh, that's nice. The Suica thing can do that too. It can do the auto refill. Maybe I'll set that up. And I don't know if Robert's here. I don't think I've seen Robert yet, but Robert has a lot of experience having been a train driver in Canada. Tim says, I think it's very easy to fall into the pre retirement trap that retirement is all about doing absolutely nothing, but that is dangerous to the point for both the physical and mental well being. Tim. Yeah, Tim, I will add, and this is just by way of this is new information that I've never talked about here, but I have another friend who's in the process of going through retirement right now, hasn't even experienced their last day yet, and is already panicked. They're like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And they're struggling right now to get back to work. They haven't quite pulled the trigger. They took a little bit of a leave and pre-retirement, which is probably a smart move, right? To kind of use up some of the reserve time to see what it's like, test the waters, like kind of wade into the water real quick. And they're like, "No, no, no, not for me." And they say, "Hell with this," and they're going back to work. Tim says, keeping busy and having a life structure and to appoint a routine in doing activities that provide enjoyment is the key. I think that I want to put that on a hat right there. Let me read that again. That's worth reading again. Everything you all say is very worthwhile to me, but sometimes I hear stuff that I want to dig into my head. And Tim is my retirement senpai. He's the one who's gone before, and I learned from him. Let me read Tim's comment again. Keeping busy and having a life structure and to appoint a routine in doing activities that provide enjoyment is the key. Having a life structure, a routine, and activities that provide. Yeah, like I said, but let's put that on a baseball cap. Patrick says, thanks, Tim, Softy P and all. This info is so helpful as I shift mindset. You are all my senpai. Well, thank you. Maybe we've got ourselves a little retirement club starting here. You know, people, even if people are still years away from it, it's helpful it's helpful to prepare, to think it through. And I think Tim and others would agree with me. It's important to begin to cultivate the person that we want to be when we're free, long before we become free, because I've seen it already that many of the people who are retired are constrained by the person that they have become over the course of the last few decades, right? What they're capable of doing, where the frontier and limits are of what they are willing to accept as reasonable in their life. So they may say, well, I want to live a more expansive life, but they really don't mean it at age 62. You know what I mean? April says the IC pain, IC is the Suica, by the way. The IC pain does make transactions sort of less personable because you spend less time making the actual purchase. My kids love it though. They can go to the conveni on their own and buy whatever. Yes, it's exactly right. It's so easy. You don't even have to face thing. You don't even have to open an app. You just literally have to wave the phone in front of it. I feel like I've been given, like I said before, a Willy Wonka ticket to buy anything that I want. But no, I can say that and it sounds flippant and sounds reckless, but you have to keep in mind that I'm not a flippant nor am I a reckless person. It's like remember the book The Little Prince, and what was the one thing that the king of the planet, or the king said to the prince? The king said, "I get all of my wishes are granted simply because all of my wishes are very reasonable." I can buy absolutely anything I want with my Suica because I don't want to buy very much. Everything that I want to purchase is very, very reasonable. So if it sounds like I'm being reckless, it's just because I'm being I'm speaking in hyperbole. Japan Monomore says, does this mean you no longer miss California, Kurt? I miss my people in California. I miss Americans. I love my people. And I love California weather. I love the beach in California. I I love uh, the desert. I love the environment. I love everything about California. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I miss it so much. It's like I don't miss my daughter. Okay, I think that's a really good way to put it. For example, I don't miss my daughter. I My daughter has she comes down and sees us maybe 3 or 4 times a year since we've been here. Um, my daughter is an adult now. We have moved on and have our separate lives in the same way that California, I've moved on and have a separate life from California. I love California just like I love my daughter. I respect and admire both of them, but you know, we do our own thing now. So it's the same way. Dark Violent MC1. That's a heck of a name there. Welcome. I think it's the first time I've seen you here. I would remember that name. Let's see. And you say good morning to me. Well, good morning to you, Dark Violent MC1. And the candle just went out again. Japan Monomore says to Evelyn, there's a new movie out on the Odyssey. No kidding. How did I miss that? Evelyn says, Japan Monomore, I will not see the movie. I only read the books. Ah, drawing a line in the sand. Dark Violent MC1 says, hi, Kurt. Have a good day going to the flea market with my buddies today. It's Ron. Oh, hey, Ron. That's right. That's right. Ron sometimes shows up with new identities. Ron is like a Ron is, for those of you who don't know, is one of my oldest connections here on the internet. I kind of consider him my. I wonder if Ron would think this. Like, he's the son I never had. You know, Ron when I wrote Going Alone, I wrote it with people like Ron in mind, and if anybody, if Ron is like someone who has, if I was to write my own life again and learn from the lessons, the mistakes that I've made, Ron is doing all of that. He's a pretty incredible human being. It's good to see you, Ron, and I know that you're going to have a wonderful day at the flea market with your friends. Catch up with me sometime and come on by and visit. All right, I would love to see you. I'll take you out for lunch. Japan Monomore says, Kurt, you must have heard of the Greek-Irish writer Lafcadio Hearn. He was born on the Greek island of Lefkada and taught at Tokyo University before being replaced by Soseki. Yes, I have. I've read Lafcadio Hearn's writings, and you might be find it very interesting to know that Lafcadio Hearn lived about a 25-minute bicycle ride from where I live right now. So just over here in Yaizu. And one of my favorite stories of Lafcadio Hearn is how he described during the Obon summer holiday, the lanterns being floated down the river and out into the Suruga Bay. And he saw them floating out in the dark waters of Suruga Bay at night. And Lafcadio Hearn from the beach of Yaizu, the pebbly beach where the waves little lap on the shore, took off all of his clothes and went for a swim in the nighttime, swimming out with the lanterns. That is absolutely crazy. That is a scary stretch of coast there, but he did it. I read it, and I whenever I go to visit that coast, I always a little mental nod to Mr. Hearn and the fact that I wouldn't get in that water in the daytime, and he did it at night. Very good writing for anybody that's interested. We highly recommend, as John Van Monomora said, the writing of Lafcadio Hearn for early anecdotal descriptions of life in Japan. One of the earliest reporters and observers of foreign observers of life in Japan. Very good writer. Tim says, when people think about retirement, the first thing that tends to happen is they panic and fear it. I think it's the unknown and turning your life basically upside down from a life of work conditioning. Yeah, my boss sent me an email, the one I told you about before, who's just going into it right now, and I won't. But you summarized basically everything you just said right there. Yep. Even people who think that they're ready, like I thought I was ready, often aren't ready because it's a new paradigm. It's the undiscovered country, right? To quote a little Shakespeare in a different way. April says, new things are fun. I see flippant. LOL. Let's see. I see okay being the card. Flippant. Oh, and another candle just went out. Boy, I'm burning through a lot of candles today. I've got another jumbo. See how this whole side over here went dark? Got another jumbo candle. I think I've got one more jumbo candle after this one. So I'm definitely going to need to go and buy more candles this weekend from the candle store. There, now we're well lit. Let me read April's comment again, make sure I understand. New things are fun. I see flippant LOL. You mean like this just randomly swiping it everywhere to buy stuff? Yeah. I guess is that what you mean? Japan Monomore says, I guess we never lose that connection with the place where we were born and raised. I guess not. Yeah. Dark Violent MC1, aka Ron, says, yeah, I made that name 12 years ago. Dark Violent MC1 says, thanks, Pops. You're welcome, son. Dark Violent MC1, aka Ron, says, I'll be down in Shizuoka around middle of March. I'm looking forward to come see me. Let's go. Let's go have some fun, Ron. Let's catch up. All right, everybody, I've reached the end of comments and 38 minutes in. So I think I'll wind up for now and then get ready to go do radio exercise. Done, 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 done with my neighbors. I wish you all the best, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe, and make it a great weekend. Take care. Thanks for all your advice and your comments. It really means a lot to me to hear from all of you and to receive your feedback and well wishes and thoughts as I go through some of these tricky times. Your advice and wisdom and experience mean a lot to me. I appreciate it. Bye bye. Bye, Ron. Bye bye, April. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye, Tim. You have a great Saturday. I'm 61 tomorrow. Hey, happy birthday to you, Tim. All right. 61. Well, you're younger than me, Tim? I always thought you were a little older than me. Oh, I know why I thought that, because you started retirement about a few years ahead of me. So in my mind, I'm putting you a few years older than me. Okay. Interesting. So you're my senpai retirement, but I'm your senpai in age. For whatever that's worth. Take care, everybody. Yes, I'm 60. LOL. Oh, okay. Oh, you're just a young thing. Have a good day, Ron. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.